Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. So, a few minutes ago, I was on YouTube and I came across a Fox News video, and they were talking about Virginia Governor Ralph Northam. And apparently, this governor posed in a racist photograph in his yearbook back in 1984, and this was in his medical yearbook. This is not him in his high school yearbook or even his undergraduate yearbook. This is his medical yearbook. And this guy was like 25 years old at the time. So he was a grown ass man when he posed in his photograph. Now, the photograph features somebody dressed in a Klansman outfit and somebody dressed in blackface. Now, this governor has issued an apology. He talked about how it doesn't represent who he is today. He talked about how he offers a sincere apology. He acknowledged that he was, in fact, in that photograph, but he doesn't say which character he was. He doesn't say if he was the guy in the blackface or the guy in the Klansman outfit. Now, of course, this has sparked outrage, and I'm just going to mention a few things in this particular video. First of all, Democrats have to come out strong against this governor. This governor is a Democrat, and this is blatant, unambiguous racism. This needs to be condemned. And not only does it need to be condemned, this man needs to be pushed out of office. He must leave now, and the people must demand that he leave now. Here's a man that was speaking out against what happened in Charlottesville, speaking out against Trump. And this man has these types of skeletons in his closet where he was either posing in a Klansman's outfit or wearing blackface. This man has to go now, plain and simple. And if Democrats and liberals want to be taken seriously, they have to be consistent. You can't only condemn racism when it's coming from Republicans, when it's coming from the far right or from the alt-right. You have to condemn it wherever it manifests itself if you are truly against racism in this country. You have to be consistent. Otherwise, no one will take you seriously. If you give this man a pass, you can't condemn anybody else that participates in racism. You can't call for no resignation of somebody else for participating in similar activities if you are not consistent. And Democrats have to be consistent. And I have to talk about these two black candidates running for office, Kamala Harris and Cory Booker. So far, as of right now, as far as I know, they haven't issued any kind of statements addressing this issue. They have to issue statements addressing this issue if they are to be taken seriously by the black community. You don't deserve black support if you can't speak out strongly and boldly and courageously on issues of race. If you can't do that, you don't deserve our vote. If you got to pussyfoot and tap dance around issues, you don't deserve our support. And from what I understand, based on what CNN was reporting a few minutes ago, they said that Kamala Harris endorsed this particular governor at one point, obviously well before these allegations came out and before this expose. So I think that she has an obligation to say something about this. And I don't want no middle ground, lukewarm type of response from either one of these candidates. Don't tell me that, he needs to be contrite and just, an apology is acceptable. To hell with that. This man needs to go. We don't need some governor like that in a state like Virginia in office. We don't. That person needs to go. Plain and simple as that. This guy is a hypocrite. Here he is, like, condemning Donald Trump when he has these kind of skeletons in his closet right now. And it's just a shame that the first candidate, as far as I know, that spoke out from what I heard on CNN is a Latino candidate for president. Cory Booker and Kamala Harris, y'all have to speak out on this issue. You have to. And one thing that has to be pointed out is that this guy doesn't indicate which outfit he had on. He doesn't say whether he was the Klansman or if he was the person in blackface. Either way, both of them are highly offensive. Blackface was designed to humiliate black people. It was designed to defend both slavery and Jim Crow. It was designed to degrade black people. As I said in the video I did just a day ago, or earlier today. You know, blackface was designed to make black people hate themselves. It was designed to make mockery of black people, to objectify black people, to dehumanize black people. And here you have somebody that runs a state, somebody that at one point wore blackface in a southern state, a state with a history of racism, a state that has modern history of racism, which we saw in Charlottesville. This man needs to leave now. And people need to unite in their demand that this man step down and that his lieutenant governor take over. That's what has to happen. There's no smoothing this shit over. It's a done deal. And, you know, this whole thing about racism is not confined to one political party or the other. You know, racism exists within this society among even some so-called liberals, among your Democrats and your Republicans, and even some of these people who are socialists or whatever. Racism has to be confronted wherever it manifests itself. We must be uncompromising in how we deal with racism. This man must go now.